forgot all about? Was that today?
Today and tomorrow.
I could have gone today.
Yeah, I couldn't have made it today.
I could have gone today. I go tomorrow. Can you remind me?
Yeah, okay. It's from 4 to 5, so I'll call you.
Could have gone. It would have been perfect. Yeah. Drove past and looked at it earlier. You know? Got a 6-inch bolt through my rear tire today.
That can happen. That can
Shot
happen.
that killed that tire pretty good.
Yep. That can happen.
On the turnpike, no traffic, no traffic. Nancy, almost ready, Nancy?
It's 6:59, and we
Yeah.
are ready
That's
when
what
you
I'm
are.
saying, you're almost ready. Okay, I'd like to call the 7 PM work session meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mr. Boonstra,
Here?
Mr. Fisher,
Here.
Mr. Melchiong,
Here.
Mr. Shanley,
Here.
and Mayor Madigan.
Here. Nancy, would you read the open work session public statement, please?
Yes, this regular work session meeting of the Wykoff Township Committee is now in session. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting appears on our annual schedule of meetings. A copy of said annual schedule has been posted on the bulletin board in Memorial Town Hall. A copy has been filed with the municipal clerk and has been posted on our municipal website. A copy has also been emailed to the Record, the Ridgewood News, and the North Jersey Herald News, all newspapers having a general circulation throughout the township of Wykoff. At least 48 hours prior to this meeting, the agenda thereof was similarly posted, filed, and emailed to said newspapers.
Okay, Finance Committee, have reviewed and signed all our vouchers?
Yeah, we have a couple left to sign. Rudy
Will
will sign,
be
Rudy will sign in
completed
between the
momentarily.
meetings.
Okay, that's great. Okay, could I have a motion, please, to open the meeting to 10-minute public comment period? This 10-minute public comment period, 2 minutes per speaker for public comment on any governmental issue that a member of the public feels may be of concern to the residents of the Township of Wykoff. Either step forward and state your name to the microphone, or you can call in at 201-891-7000, extension 2220.
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Boonstra,
Yes?
Mr. Fisher,
Yes.
Mr. Melchiong,
Yes.
Mr. Shanley.
Yes.
And Mayor Madigan.
Yes.
With an affirmative vote, the motion is approved.
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Good evening. Charlie Gins, 8 Bush Lane. If I may, I just have
Can you spell your last name for the record, please?
Gins. Okay. 2 minutes exactly. Good evening. Firstly, thank you for allowing me to speak for these next 2 minutes. I've actually tried emailing, though I haven't received any responses. I'm here to discuss an important issue regarding this small dead-end road that I live on and share with 3 other houses, Bush Lane. The road is full of potholes and very uneven surfaces. It has 3 very large craters, which means there's a risk of damage to personal cars, delivery trucks, mail, and commercial vehicles. A few years ago, the underneath of my wife's previous car completely collapsed, and we had to sell it for parts due to cumulative damage from holes in our road. If there's a need for emergency service vehicles, this would be very difficult in its present condition.
You want to hold
Just
on
hold on
one
a
second?
second.
Yeah,
We'll give you your full time.
thank you so much.
Don't worry about the time.
Thank you
Got
so
a
much.
challenge.
I appreciate that, really. Okay. In fact, my elderly babysitter had an ambulance come from cardiac arrest in 2019, and the EMTs complained. The condition of the road gets worse every year. For this same reason, my autistic son's special needs school bus refuses to pick him up at our house. About a month ago, he was waiting for his bus at the end of our street near Goffel Road, and a pickup truck that thought it was going to Sunrise Bagels made a wrong turn down Bush Lane and almost hit him after it drove into one of the craters and skidded out. I'm here tonight because I wouldn't be able to live with myself if something happened to him or any of my 3 kids, and if I didn't do my best to make this appeal to people who can make a difference to help fix the road. We all live in Wyckoff and contribute to our town's infrastructure through taxes. I believe we should do our best to ensure that the town's spending is fairly distributed so that no parts of Wyckoff get left behind. Thank you so much for listening to me, and I hope we can resolve this issue as soon as possible for the safety of our community.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I'm gonna have the,
appreciate it.
our administrative comment after public comment period. That way, in case anybody else will let them with a little comment.
Okay.
Because they think, is that your wife, this lady
No,
here?
no, this is my neighbor Barbara.
Okay, because she was here the last time,
And yes, and she told me, and
and we started looking into things, so.
thank you so much.
He'll give you a little bit of feedback.
I really greatly
Okay.
appreciate it, sir.
Is there anybody else from the public that wishes to address? You can stay there.
Yeah, just me.
Yeah, well, come on up then.
Hi,
Charlie, you
I'm-
can sit down a minute.
Thank you
We'll
so
get right
much.
back to you.
I'm Barbara McDonough, Bush Lane, 6 Bush Lane. These are my neighbors that live behind me, and again, my concerns, I didn't really think that I have written emails as well going unanswered. I came a couple weeks ago. You said somebody was gonna get back to me. No one got back to me. I'm just concerned because these kids, like, I look after these kids like they're my own as well, because we all have to stay as a community and we all have to help each other. And if we don't help each other, what's going to happen is one of these kids are going to get hurt. And I'm extremely concerned. And as I told you before, I've been living on the street for 21 years. And for 2 out of my first of the 21 years, I've called every week for recycling and garbage because it was a private street. Now that the strip mall has been built, it is no longer a private street. It is probably just like a commercial street. We had a vehicle last night for a delivery for the back of one of those businesses back that are in the strip mall. We have trucks coming down, mail people coming down. School bus refuses to come down for Evan. And we are just really concerned about the safety at this point in time. I maintained the street for several years, and a lot of thousands of dollars that I have paid to put into the street, as well as my own vehicles, fixing my own vehicles. You know, I just had a ball bearing fixed. That's $750. I just had struts. Each strut is $450 plus. That's expensive to the cars and the vehicles that we have coming down the street. And not only is it, you know, I also ride a motorcycle, and to get out of my street on the gravel, it's insanely difficult. Not only difficult because I'm maneuvering around the potholes, but because it's a gravel street. And all I have to say, it's very much a safety concern. Thank you.
Mayor.
Does anybody else, before I open it up, or anybody have any comments?
I just have one question. Who were you emailing
Yeah, I'm
about this?
concerned about
'Cause
that too.
I never received.
I didn't get an email.
I didn't either.
I went on the website.
Right.
And it says, leave your email, and that was for the mayor.
I didn't get anything.
We-
And usually it's
nor did
right there,
I.
either one gets it or we all get it.
Right.
I didn't get any emails.
Yeah, we all
Yeah,
usually
I
get
didn't
that
get
email.
anything.
We
I
never.
actually took a picture of it on my
we
phone.
No, I
never
believe
received
you.
Yeah.
And by the way, I've said it before, I didn't see the email,
Yeah.
but I definitely didn't get any emails. But we did follow up. When you were the last time, we said, okay, we'll get back to you, meaning we'll start to follow up. I know Matt has some information,
Okay.
maybe not all of it, but he has some feedback. But before we close to the public, we'll just keep it open, I guess. Like, anyone else from the public or anyone calling in? Seeing none, can I have a motion to close to the public other than these 2 people that are here?
Motion to close public comment.
Okay.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Boonstra?
Yes.
Mr. Fisher?
Yes.
Mr. Melchiong?
Yes.
Mr. Shanley?
Yes.
And Mayor Madigan.
Yes. Matt, I know you started to look into it. I don't know how far you've gotten. I mean, we knew we were gonna comment on it tonight, but,
Rob's actually gonna speak about it.
okay.
That's okay. So this is what I can tell from what I'm looking at. Do either of you own lot 46?
I don't know what that is.
Lot 46 looks like it's the deepest lot off of Goffle.
I think we're 86 though.
Yeah, this one.
Oh, yeah.
46 would be at the end of this path of this easement, it looks like. So, I mean, I can tell you this, from looking at the tax map and from what I'm looking at here, it's not a municipal road, meaning the property owners didn't dedicate it to the municipality. When roads are dedicated, first of all, first concept is, a lot of people don't know this, but property owners own in fee simple the actual land of property to the center of the road, right? So whatever road you live on, whether it's Wyckoff Ave or my street is Lakeview Drive, there's a paved road in front of me. I actually own to the middle of the paved road. What happens, roads are, when subdivisions are done, roads are dedicated to the municipality, and it's a public right of way. And once it's dedicated to the municipality has to accept it, and after the town accepts it, they're responsible for paving, maintaining, snow plowing, all that stuff. What you have at Bush Lane was never really a road and never dedicated to the municipality, never accepted. Sometimes we call them paper streets or private roads. I wouldn't even call that this. This is, from what I'm looking at, yeah, it's a driveway, or it looks like people got together and easements were granted probably by lots 47, 43, 4801, and 4902. So you had access to lot 46. Looks like property owners got together. My guess is somebody wanted to build a house on one of the small lots in the back, and they made sure they got easements in perpetuity from the other property owners in order to gain access. To really understand it, I mean, really understand it, to see if any of the appropriate documents or the appropriate easements were ever recorded, I'd have to do a title search, which I'm willing to do. I could do a quick title search on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lots, just 5 lots that look like they all touch Bush Lane in one way or another. And then I could find out for sure how it was created and who has responsibilities. It looks like there was I'm looking at scattered documents, but one of the documents talks about somebody got a use approval, it wasn't a use variance, it's before the Municipal Land Use Act because they use different terminology, but somebody got a use permit to put a house on one of these lots, and it looked like a condition of that was that the right-of-way or the easement be maintained, or at least a portion of it. So there's private agreements that happened historically, and private property owners, I'm sure, if it was recorded right, were supposed to maintain that road. Now, I mean, for the town to take over the maintenance and responsibility, it's not as easy as these guys saying, we're gonna come in and pave it before you plow it. We don't have control over it, town doesn't own it, hasn't been dedicated. All these property owners, I don't even know if it's the direction you wanna go, but all the property owners would have to record the appropriate documents to provide a wide enough right of way to the town where they thought it was safe enough, and considerable enough that, you know, they could maintain it and plow it and do everything else, and then it'd have to be dedicated. So it's gonna be some work finding out what, if any, documents were recorded properly, and then it's a whole other project if you wanna turn that into a municipal road, because it's not a municipal road. I mean, we have private roads in town that are paved and curbed, and I think 1 or 2 of the condominium developments, and we don't maintain those. The private property owners of the association plows them, provides the light for them, repaves them, provides the curbing. This is something even further down the chain than that. This is an unimproved, I'll call it a pathway, that it looks like was created by those property owners years ago just to have access.
We'll do whatever we can to make this
Yeah.
a municipal road.
I mean,
This has probably been in effect way before we.
Since
even-
Mr. Bush subdivided the property.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Cornelius Bush owned the property, and it was subdivided. There are 2 private roads left in town. So you have Bush Lane, which is Goffle Road to the end, and Cherry Lane, which is Circle Drive
Right.
to the end. About 250 feet of Bush Lane, 230 feet of Cherry Lane. Those are the two private roads that are not in condominium associations. We have 12 that are in condominium associations, and then we have 7 unpaved township roads that we,
Mayor, I have a question when you get to it. Margaret.
Okay, Rudy, you can continue the discussion, Rudy.
I just have a question either of the homeowners, or if anyone knows. Are your homes served by sanitary sewers?
Yes.
Where is the sewer main? How does, do you know how it travels? I assume it goes to a larger main on Goffel Road. Do I have that right?
Yes. There's
Is
a
it-
manhole in that street.
There's a manhole in
Yeah.
Bush Lane.
Yes, there is.
Okay.
we have a sanitary easement that runs through part of Bush Lane and part of lot 46,
Yeah.
Okay.
and maybe 43 and 47.
So there is
and
an easement there.
Maybe
Okay.
48 and 49.
Okay. Do you know offhand when your homes were built?
I'm gonna say, I'm guessing, back in the 40s,
Okay.
late 40s, 50s, like very early.
So I know, I get a visual.
Yeah.
Here's,
Yes.
here's Bush Lane, which lot is yours?
I have 43.
Okay. And which lot is yours, sir? 44. Okay. Does that, you get access to your lot from Bush Lane?
Yeah, he goes around a house. He goes around,
Which is
he goes around 46. He goes, there's like a little sliver right here that is his driveway.
He passes through 46 here and you live in there?
Yes.
And then leads to my driveway.
It's like the edge, like right on the edge of the house.
So you have a driveway easement?
I believe that's what.
If you still have your title work from when you bought the property, get it to me. I'd be curious to look at it because it's gotta show driveway easements because there's no road that accesses your lot.
Okay, so, Rob,
Yep.
you did actually a little more work than, or you got to a little more than I anticipated you'd get to. But the first thing we know that the residents need to do is figure out what it says in their title. Then they have to get together and ask to be part of the town. In the interim, however, Mr. Fisher has many years dealing with things. Could they hire someone to dump stone there? Would that be a good solution?
I mean, I have done that. I've done it. I've hired somebody to dump stone there.
Recently? They
Yes.
saw is that picture recent?
Yes.
So,
It's from, the time that I had them dump stones was 2 years ago. It cost me like $400, and then it just, after the winter, and
moves and shifts.
it just
Any
went
thoughts, Scott?
boo-boo-y.
In the meantime, we could probably just fill the craters, just so that there's no danger while we're looking into this issue.
Are you okay with that, Pete?
Yeah.
Right, so can you tell us?
I'll take care of
Well,
that.
Matt?
yep. We'll work with Joe on it.
Okay, so between.
I'm not gonna say we're gonna cover the whole street, but we'll go and we'll fill the craters for now, at least so that we
From
don't
a
have-
safety
Safety
standpoint,
standpoint.
particularly with the
we'll give
young
it a little-
children.
We'll give it a little bit of stability, and then we'll start looking at, Rob will have to start looking at
Titles.
it legally a little bit.
Yeah, I'll order some, get me what you have if you have your own title.
And
work, but
other
I'll order
neighbors-
some things
other neighbors
just to give me an
info.
idea. But it affects not just, it affects at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lots. If you're, I wasn't even looking at.
Well, on
your
the other
lot.
side of the street from lot 43, which is mine, you have the strip mall. There used to be, way back, there
That
used to be
little
a
lot
house
47?
identical to mine across the street,
On 47.
surrounded by
That's the strip mall
woods.
on 47?
That tax map might not be.
That's where that
most
bagel
accurate.
place is, right?
I'm sorry?
That's where the bagel place is.
Yes.
Yeah, Sunrise Bagels is on. You don't have access to it. Right.
All right, let's look into it a little further
Yep.
offline, because there's nothing we're gonna do now.
Yeah, just understand if the town helps you out,
Yeah, it's,
fill in the holes, they're just helping out to help you out.
Right.
There's no responsibility. I'm not saying they're not gonna do anything in the future, but
Right.
don't take that as the town's taking ownership of the property, because we're not, and it's not our property, but
Okay.
we could start looking into it.
I mean, I think even when we bought our house, nothing like that was even, told to us. Like, we had no idea that it was no one disclosed that information.
I have a question.
Yeah,
Who is Jim McDonough?
that's my husband.
Okay, so do you know who I am, by chance? My name is Scott Fisher. I'm a retired Public Works Director in Wyckoff.
Okay.
So I know your husband from the fire department.
Oh, God. I'm so sorry.
That's all right. That's all right. So, the history from my end, for your knowledge, Rob, is that over the years, Mr. McDonough has approached the town of Wyckoff through Mr. Shannon's office when Mr. Shannon was the town administrator. This subject has been on the books for years. I served 34 years in this town as the Public Works Director. So, there's a lot of knowledge and history here for this area. It's been told to your husband that this section is a private road. We've provided the documents, i.e. the tax map copies. But on the other side of that, we've also helped. I have been directed by past governing bodies as the Public Works Manager and by Mr. Shannon to assist, but with clear knowledge that we don't own it. We don't want anybody to get hurt. We don't want the kids to trip or fall, or you to fall off your motorcycle. And we have tried to assist, but at the same time explain that it is private, clearly private. And again, I think tonight we're willing to throw some gravel in there, smooth it off, maybe give you some time to get your stuff in order, and then come back to us and, make a presentation, if you wish, with your neighbors, because you have to all be in. You can't just have 2 out of 5, right, to make this happen, right, Rob? Am I understanding it?
The other,
Just one more person, he's very much on board.
Well, it looks
You
like,
gotta have the lady on the corner.
yeah, there's 2 houses that are rented, and that's by the same person that owns the strip mall.
Okay, I'm just saying you need that, for us to make a determination on accepting anything, everybody's gotta be on board.
looks like 3 of the lots were merged into a new lot, which contains that strip mall now. So you got the strip mall, you got 4801, 43, 46, which is at the end, and 44. And I don't know, so across from, when you come down the road, and you gotta make a right around lot 46 to get to your lot, if you come down the road and you look directly left, is there a house there?
It's just woods. Before you go over the bend, before you go around the house. If you look to the left, it's
Looks like
woods.
47, 4902, 5101. Yeah, 47, 4902, and 5101 were all merged together. in Oak
50, was 5202 part of that too?
No,
What's on 5202?
I don't know. The variance that I have here is for 47, 4902, and 5101.
When's that dated?
2005.
This one is part of the strip mall.
Yes.
What's this? What's here?
And actually, at that point, the last line of this, during the public comment, was Mr. McDonough asked if Bush Lane was a private right-of-way,
And then
which
there's
Mr.
just
Tenkate
pieces
said
of
that it was
woods
not a public right-of-way.
back there, or they cut down some trees back there and they put some
So,
stone back
Rob and
there,
I
so
looked into this a little
I don't
bit.
know
Right.
exactly
Sounds
who
good.
owns that, but
Thank
there's
you,
nothing back there, no building.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna move it along in the interest of time. We have a large crowd coming in at 8 o'clock. So be it said, Rob Landell, our attorney, will look into things. You need to look at things with your neighbor. Mr. Cavallo just read from a meeting in 2005
Yeah.
where they specifically mentioned your husband was told, but, we're, in the interim, in the interest of safety, I think, would be
And
able
again,
to
I
help you out.
apologize for him. He
That's
doesn't
all
pass
right.
on the information.
All right,
That's
well,
right.
okay,
Alright, we appreciate you
Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
looking
yeah,
into
yeah.
it.
Thank you so much.
all right.
Thanks.
All right, have a good
Thank
night.
you.
And by the way, next time, I don't know what happened to emails, but call us.
Yeah.
Do you have my card? You have a card, I'll give you my card.
The non-emergent email on our, website goes to me and Nancy, and I just check my emails, I didn't get it.
Here's a couple of my cards, all right? One for each of you. If you wanna come up and grab them, do you have it? But usually You can hit individual or everyone gets it and we get them.
Yeah, we all get them if it comes to one.
Usually we get them, but thank you for coming out again.
If you want my cards, here's my cards.
There you go. He thinks like he's the man. He can take care of it.
There, just hand, there's my,
Okay, we're gonna, in the interest of time, we're gonna move on. Mr. Cavallo, you're up next with the administrator's report. Thank you.
Thank you.
have a good night.
Thank you for doing that work.
Again, I apologize for my husband, whatever.
I get it. I'm married.
We have a pretty light agenda for resolutions. As we have been doing for the last two meetings, we have another resolution confirming endorsement for Christian Health for a community development application. There was additional monies available this year under the community development program that they are able to apply for through the county. And this is for HVAC upgrades to the Live Well Counseling Center. We also have a resolution for a redemption of a tax sale certificate, awarding of a shade tree removal contract. As you are aware, this is the second shade tree contract that we're awarding in the last, I'm going to say 4 months. We awarded one at Sinai. We've already completed that contract. Public Works, along with Anna in the clerk's office, who is our shade tree secretary, and the Shade Tree Commission themselves have been working really hard at trying to address the tree complaints that as they come in. So these, I believe, are to remove about 12 trees, and we're trimming another 15 or so. We also have approval of change order number 1 and contract closeout for the removal of shade trees, the original contract. I did add 2 trees to that, which brought us over the contract. And 172 authorizes credits to aged SOAR accounts. We have four motions, which will be read in depth at the next meeting, along with 1 ordinance for final consideration and adoption. For my administrator's report, I've started conversations with our 5G consultant. As you remember, we awarded that contract 2 meetings ago. We'll be setting up meetings with him and township staff in upcoming weeks to review our current codes and what changes are recommended so that we can bring it back to the zoning subcommittee. I plan to be going out to bid next week for an additional cell carrier on the field light tower next to the recreation building. Dish Network has expressed interest in being the tenant in the vacant spot on that pole, bring us in some additional revenue. The budget has been submitted to the DLGS. It's currently being reviewed. We've been assigned a reviewer. We expect no issues and should be ready for adoption April 18th. The new system for bulk waste collection seems to be working. People have been coming in and buying stickers. Once we have a few more months under our belts, we'll re-examine and report back in detail. You are now late for those who have not renewed their animal licenses. Please get in touch with the clerk's office. Everyone should have received the spring newsletter within the last 2 weeks, and I just want to say thank you to the Eid Committee of New Jersey. The Ramadan event this past Friday was a very nice event. Actually, it was a little enlightening for me. I didn't realize what Ramadan was all about, and I look forward to next year. That's it.
Rob, do you have anything to report this evening?
I will yield my time to the Township Committee.
There you go, right answer. Okay, Township Committee, Tim, want to start us off?
Yeah, I'll start you off. I was able to attend the Ramadan ceremony the other night. It was nice to see. It's the first time we've seen that here at in Wyckoff. It was eye-opening. It was good experience to be part of. The only other thing I have to report on is Kevin O'Neill and his Eagle Scout. He gave us back the details, and then I sent that over to Rob, and I sent it to Matt, and you were working to speak to the DPW about whether or not that was permissible at Russell Farm. So can you just give us an update on that?
So, yeah, Rob and I spoke about it earlier. I looked at the deed. I looked at the deed file that we have here. I don't see it as an issue. We already, it's pretty much considered passive recreation it's a little
So
active, but it's-
bocce's permitted?
Bocce would be something that would be permitted if the township committee would want it to go there. The only other option that I think would be feasible if the township committee wanted to would be Larkin. But the problem with Larkin could be is bocce has the potential to be used more often than not, especially when the weather is nice. And the Larkin house has limited parking. So let's just say we built 2 courts. You know, that could be 8 people playing. Coming in 8 separate cars, if they're all grown adults. If that was to happen on a Tuesday afternoon when seniors is meeting there, there's no parking anyway.
Right.
Where Russell is sort of not used as much. So I did speak to Public Works. I did speak to Tim earlier today. I spoke to Rob. My recommendation would be that we would move forward with meeting with the
Kevin O'Neill.
scout and coming together with a concept and then bring it back for final approval before we give our okay.
Okay, just want to make sure we clearly, and Pete, you'll probably be involved from facilities as well. We clearly understand where they want to put it. We're sensitive to who's close to who's home versus maybe in the corner. And before we start anything, we got a nice butterfly garden out there. It took them a while to put it in. There was a little confusion. After they put it in, we never saw from those Girl Scouts again. So, okay, that's good.
Mayor, if I may, I'll put my 2 cents
Yeah.
in here for the Larkin House. Which before it was the Larkin House, it was the Opeachy House. That's who Mrs. Larkin acquired it from. There's a large, as we all know, a large area behind that hedgerow, behind the house. And, I mean, it might be appropriate there. I wouldn't worry about parking, but also, the land at the Larkin House is table flat. Everything at Russell is a grade. It's gonna have to be leveled off. You might wanna just keep that in mind, that's all. As you look further into it. Thank you.
I have a comment on that. First, it would have been nice if I received a little details as liaison to the DPW and not just at the meeting, so we had an opportunity to review it. Secondly, Larkin House, I think you just gotta be careful, because I think part of the deed restriction is no ball fields, so bocce ball, be careful with that. I remember that, and is there any place at Community Park that possibly could put a bocce ball?
Community?
Since there's plenty of parking over
Yeah,
there.
I was thinking Pullis, and I took a drive up there, but I couldn't find a good spot for it, but Wyckoff Community Park is a good, that's a good
Community
thought.
Park,
There's plenty of parking over there. You know,
We don't
Russ-
have the same kind of restrictions there as we do in.
Yeah, and a lot of
out in
people,
Russell.
a lot of people, you know,
Even in Community Park, you can build it in the woods if you want to.
Yeah.
Wooded area.
All right, we can.
I would just like to
Alright.
see some more detail and
Yeah.
just not make a decision right on the
Well,
spot.
actually, we
about
weren't
this.
looking for a decision today. We were just looking
makes
for
sense.
if the township committee was even interested in moving forward with speaking to him.
Yeah.
We were looking, the scout recommended Russell. That's why we were looking at Russell. But we could, he has spoke, in an email to us, he did say that he would be open to other spots.
It's got a lot of
Community,
level
community
to it,
park
Russell.
might be a good
Yeah,
option,
that's a
because
good
you got those
point.
picnic
Rudy's
tables
point
in that wooded area.
is very
too.
valid at Russell, 'cause I don't know anything that's flat there.
The top by the playground is the only flat, where the picnic tables are, it's pretty much the only flat area there.
Yeah, I mean, it does work at Russell Farms. If you wanted to make it work,
You
it
can make
could
it
work
work,
without
but
a
it's
lot of work.
grading, it's a lot of grading.
When we built Russell Farms, we created, the chess tables and the picnic benches
Right.
and all of the walking trails, and I think that's kind of a little bit more of a park-like setting for a game like that. But I mean, I do agree with Pete also that Community Park has a lot of space. I mean, I think, down the road, we're gonna be hearing the words pickleball and, there's a lot of other sports, I think, that are gonna be approached by, or people are gonna approach us with ideas. This is the first of that. But I think both locations, I mean, the Larkin House for me, I think, I agree with Matt, it just gets lost back there. I don't know, it just seems to get lost.
Yeah,
So it actually is one of our few, like the Rose Garden area, where it's still natural.
just passive, right?
And Pete's correct in that when that will was written, I believe that there's no sporting allowed.
No ball fields.
No.
Yeah.
So I think at that level, it was meant to just remain as natural as possible. I think the only thing we put back there was the
The
beehives,
beehive, yeah.
so.
Okay.
Okay. Scott?
Well, I was fortunate, as was the whole council, to attend the Ramadan ceremony, and I was impressed by it. Didn't know much about it either. I learned a lot that night. I actually went home and just quick chatted with my wife to see if she knew anything about it. And I was actually honored that we were invited. I thought it was a nice part of the community to see that whole thing happen, and I'm sure it's here for years to come. The shade tree bid, working with the shade tree commissioners, I think they've been doing a good job this year, staying on top of the lists and getting things marked and ready to go. I know Pete and I talked, we're trying to eliminate the amount of leaves in town in the fall, so I think the shade tree bids are gonna help with that, right? So, that Downs tree, that was for
That was for the contract,
that was,
that was awarded at Signed I that we're closing out now.
right, but we added,
We added, I think, 2 or 3. We had a 20% contingency in there, and
We were well
we went
under?
over by $1,600.
oh, that's nothing, okay, good. I was a little surprised at the bidders list and how close it was.
Very. Yeah, the first bid that we did for Downs, the spread was very wide. It was about 5 bidders.
Right.
There was actually 7 bidders for this contract, 2 of which ended up being found to be non-responsive. But the 5 remaining were all very close,
Right.
and even the ones from further distances.
Yeah,
So,
which I was surprised at the distances they're willing to travel, so.
yeah. But the one thing I do want to say is, last year when we weren't really that organized in doing getting the shade trees, and we were taking down trees more of as emergencies, we were paying more for a single tree than we are for 3 or 4 trees now.
Right.
So I think doing this bid the way we're doing it, and not the way like the co-op bids are, where you bid, the co-op bids are a tree 30 to 35 inches in diameter, a tree 35 to 40 inches in diameter, measured at the base, and they give you a flat rate. By us actually picking the trees, marking them, giving the bidders 2 weeks to come up, look at the sites, look at the bid, I think we're definitely saving money. this way.
Yeah, I agree too.
Right.
So, I think that was it.
Thanks, Scott. Rudy?
My next, thank you, Mayor.
You're next up.
I have a few bullet points, but I'll be brief. Planning Board met last Wednesday night, had a special meeting, last Thursday night, for the Ridgewood Water application to put a treatment plant at the Cedar Hill Wellfield site. There was about 2.5, 3 hours of testimony. A lot of ideas were exchanged, and we've scheduled another meeting. It was not concluded. A lot of progress was made, actually. In fact, today and tomorrow, there is an opportunity for any board members to get on the property and view the site. So I think we'll come out at the end of the day. We'll have a pretty good result of this. Board of Health, I was unable to attend last month. The Zabriskie House is meeting Thursday, April 6th. It's a general meeting, plus to talk about History Day that the trustees want to organize. Historic Preservation was canceled last month, but it is scheduled for April 11th for this month. The chairman says we need to have a meeting. We haven't had one in actually 2 months. On Friday, I too attended the Ramadan festivities in Town Hall, and it was very interesting. As Matt said, I learned a lot. I really did learn a lot. It was very enlightening and very pleasant to be at. I dropped in the other day to the DPW's new renovated office to see all the new cabinets and the new desks and whatever, and everything has looked bright and everything else. Good job for the DPW. And I understand that the crew did it all by themselves, which is pretty good. Saturday night, I attended a production of The Gold Mask, which is the theatrical student faculty theatrical club at Rampo High School. I kind of stumbled upon it at Abby's Diner a week ago, and I said I should go and support them. So I went, and it was really great. The play was Urinetown. I wasn't crazy about the storyline, but I have to tell you, the students and the faculty advisors and the stage crew did an outstanding job. It was a pleasure to watch them all perform, so I enjoyed that very much. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Pete?
All right. Thank you, Mayor. Along with the rest of the Township Committee, attended the Ramadan ceremony. It was a very nice ceremony. Also received some pretty tasty caramel treats that were made by a Wyckoff mom, and I believe she's got a business for that here in town, right? I think so. But it was a very nice ceremony. Environmental Commission kicked off their busy month of April with their composting event this Saturday. Started off with a little bit of drizzle to some really heavy rains. Luckily, we had 2 pop-up tents, and believe it or not, we had the biggest crowd we've ever had for it. About 30 people showed up to the event. 15 composters were sold, with about 9 on a waiting list to receive composters. Just one key thing about that, the heaviest part of our household waste is the food scrap. So the more we take out of our household waste, the less we have to pay for tonnage for our garbage. So it was a great event, and it was great to see everyone that came out in the rain. Shredfest is April 15th at the DPW garage between 9 and 11:30, and Team Up to Tidy Up April 22nd. Memorial Day Parade Committee met. Planning is underway for another great parade this year. DPW, they started leaf collection the beginning of this week, and they are currently in District 4. They're also preparing all the ball fields for opening day. Fire Department has went on 163 calls year to date, with 2 structure fires and 1 car fire in the past 2 weeks. And lastly, I just want to wish everyone a happy Passover and happy Easter. That's all I have.
I would just add that if you thought the caramels were good, I went back to the house to break fast afterwards, and the spread was unbelievable.
Oh, wow.
That's all I'm going to say. It was fantastic. Met a lot of nice people.
Yep.
Pete, what about the military banners? You got a pulse how that's going?
I will.
Rehanging in new orders?
Yep, they're all going to be rehung again from Memorial Day up through Veterans Day, and there's still military banners that are for purchase, and their information is on our website, or you could come into Town Hall and get the information for that.
Okay, good. All right, I have a few things. Planning board, I was at the planning board as well with Ridgewood Water. I also was able to attend, along with Rudy Boomster, the senior lunch, March 28th over at the Larkin House. Nice group of people, and a nice lunch, very social, and it was very enjoyable. Both Rudy and I are going back April 11th, and we have some thoughts that we're going to share, that people are going to share with us. I participated in the Rotary Charter Night. A Charter Night is the anniversary of when the club was started. It was started in March 1959. So annually, it's a nice time to remember when the club was started. We do all kinds of community service here in the communities with the kids, with scholarships within the United States, internationally, with helping the people in Turkey and Syria, with immediate relief after the earthquakes, with the water project with Father Felix. So it was really nice. And in Charter Night, we began a few years ago. We like to honor somebody from Wyckoff and somebody from Midland Park who has done something nice for the community. And we honored Kristen Madley from Families to Families here in Wyckoff. We also honored Nancy DeRitta, who is the Interact, which is the high school version of Rotary. She's a teacher at Midland Park High School. And then we had a special honor. We honored one special Rotarian, and there was a nice crowd and a lot of enthusiasm for Gordon Stanley, who was a past mayor and past fire chief in town and over 30 years in the Rotary. So it was a great event, and there's so many great things, wonderful things going on in the community. On Friday night, the night after, I guess, I too attended the Ramadan event. It was very nicely done. I made a few comments, and it was just overall just a nice event, and a nice night, and it was well done. Then Saturday night, I was invited to attend the Sycamac PTO event, which was under the tent behind Company 2, and I'm glad to be invited. I saw many familiar faces there. of a lot of today's parents that all grew up with my kids, so that was kind of nice. And it was a very special event behind Company 2. And again, they're doing, everything they were doing is to benefit, you know, the kids in the school, so that's always positive. And I think that's about it on my end. Anybody else have any other comments before we adjourn? Seeing none, can I have a motion to adjourn the business meeting,
Work session.
work session rather?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Boonstra?
Yes.
Mr. Fisher?
Yes.
Mr. Melchiong?
Yes.
Mr. Shanley?
Yes.
Mayor Madigan?
Yes.
With an affirmative vote, the motion is approved.
Real quick,